So the MMA collector is on the road again, and we've got a special guest, another MMA historian, another MMA, old school guy, Jeff Osborne, my former partner, and we're getting here together here to talk about the history that Jeff made with Hook and Shoot Revolution. Jeff, how you doing?
Pretty good. You were part of that, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and it's definitely great to be a part of it. But that was your baby, and that was the thing that if things had been different, and you didn't want to really fight for it, we might not have done it. But you really felt passion for it from the very beginning, and once you have a full card of MMA, a women's only, you put a marker in history for sure. There's never been done before in the United States. Good talent in a competitive event, in an event that knows how to run itself. We had done 30 of them, so we knew what we were doing at that level, and it was a great night. What do you remember of it?
Man, I mean, I remember I didn't want it to end. I mean, there were people saying we couldn't do it. I know that I left Erin Tohill. I go back to that. I don't hold any grudges with anybody, but her man or her manager or something said I was full of shit. This is not going to happen. And I don't know, something happened. And I'm like, I'm going to pull a Vince McMahon. I'm not even going to acknowledge her in any way. I left her out of the program because of just the negativity that it brought with it. But for the most part, man, these women just wanted to fight. You could have told them they were like, hey, I'm going to put you against Vanderlei Silva. They would have done it. They didn't care about ego or anything. They just wanted to fight.
Yeah. And that was the beauty of it, that essence that you capture. It's really pure because they really didn't have anywhere to compete. And if they did compete, it's either kind of like a joke match, like, hey, we're going to bring the girls out, or lower on the card. This is building a card with main events, the whole thing. So it was really planned out on the production end too. So it was their first real showcase. And they stepped up. We had, Tara LaRosa made her debut, again, Shelby, rest in peace. There's a lot of history in that show. So show the program. What do we got here?
Oh, I know you told me not to say it, but I actually threw a lot of these away. But this is the actual program from the show. You can see the sponsors. There were only, I think, two. Tap Out gave us money. I think Tribe and Fairtex gave us gear, but it wasn't even enough to cover the programs. So I went all out on the programs, and they're pretty nice. They're at the time, these are like UFC level. So
yeah, the UFC was a comparable program in the SEG years, and you did go all out because it was a step up from our men's programs. I know we did those together too, but this was going in there, and it's because it was a meaningful. You knew you were doing something meaningful, and that's what makes it memorable too. So take us through this thing.
And I didn't know it until years later, and Tap Out was doing their television show. This is years later, and at that point, MMA was kind of secondary to me because there were a million shows. And I'm like, oh, I tell Mask, I go, he's like, I want to come to your show. We want to do episodes at your show. And I'm like, yes, they're not what they were. And he's like, what I didn't like about, he's going to tell me what he didn't like about what we did. He goes, I just didn't like that you guys made history and just didn't tell anybody about it. I'm like, and it was one of those things that we did so many weird things, man. We were the first show on cable and satellite. We were the first MMA show. People overlooked that. Remember the Sunshine Network show we did?
How about just, the first guys that showed up at IBCs in Brazil, and all the road trips and going to see. I think that's one of the things that people don't understand is back from when we started, it was literally a situation where we were basically seeing every fight on the planet. You get your Shudo tapes and Pride tapes and tapes from Russia or Holland, wherever things are going on. But there was a tape exchange, and you could say pretty much you'd seen everybody. And that's, you can't keep up anymore.
And I remember, you know, one of our exploits where we went to Brazil and you were, you know, would speak to the guys. Obviously, I didn't speak any kind of the language of Portuguese or anything. And you asked, we were interviewing Vanderlei, and I go, ask him what he thinks when he goes out there for an IVC. And then you laughed. And I'm like, what did he say? He's like, he's just trying to kill the other guy and hopes the referee stops it or something like that. I'm like, all right, yeah. Then he had a team hook and shoot shirt on, which was surreal and weird as well. So
Yeah,
just
for
crazy,
sure.
man.
Definitely crazy memories. But talk about what was your most memorable moment from Hook and Shoot Revolution, and whip through a couple of the pages of the program before we cut it off here.
Yeah, I'll skim through here. I would love to know where some of these women are, and we'll try to hold this up in a way where hopefully we can see this here. But I'll have you tell me if you can see that or not.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Thank you.
There we go. It's a little off. That's you know, first match with Erica Montoya and Ruth. And
Yeah,
then
Erica's a bit of a, you know, underground legend, and still to this day. And I think she's a UFC employee on the Spanish end. So.
oh, is she really? I did not know that. And then you had Olga, who I still talk to from time to time,
Cool.
Shannon Hooper. And then Jessica Ross, I still talk to her from time to time. Jennifer Irons is an attorney now. Angela Wilson, Tanya Blahak passed away. She was the oldest woman on the card, but man, she was in shape.
Yeah.
And Angela Riestad.
She's out there. She's out there still training, still doing
things. Yeah, I see her every now and then online. Then, of course, Shelby was the first one to kind of use sexiness in her photos, and Tara hated her for it.
Yep.
But, I mean, you got to use it, you know. I told these women, you got to look like women outside of the, and there's a match that didn't happen. Jessica Turan, and which was supposed to be Jennifer Howe, Judy Neff, I think. But,
yeah.
Then the lucky lady.
God. I have many memories there. I told somebody recently that the lucky lady, up until, you know, I don't know when we talked, but for a long time, the best night they ever had was one of our post-fight parties. So definitely.
Seeing some of those guys who went on to become Pride champions at the Lucky Lady, it's kind of surreal.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. A little taste. They all have a little taste of Indiana and Evansville in their hearts. So, brother, thank you very much for this little walk down memory lane. Thank you very much for the program. If anybody wants to buy one, reach out to Jeff, because he's still got a bunch probably. But you know, other than that, thank you very much, bro.
Hey, appreciate it, man.